Everybody is aware about the exits, correct?
Right, okay. He gave you the high sign.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Dave Newman. That's Joel Megrum over there. This is an act. We do this every year. And to lead the lay service, which is our pleasure to do. We're going to start with the blessings for Shabbat on page 2. And I call up Rachel Nathan and Maya Nathan to help out.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Okay. And before we do the Kiddush, I just want to announce the happy things that are going on right now, birthdays and anniversaries. Brody Arnott, Cheryl Silverman, Ariel Stromberg, Chase Borden, Patricia Sislin, and someone else I'm going to take liberty to mention, Sarah Rich, our daughter. It's her birthday tomorrow. Firecracker baby.
All right.
And we celebrate the anniversaries of Michael and Jessica Tannenhouse and Gary and Jackie Steinberger.
No, one more. Sherry and Richard Bleach are now grandparents.
Sherry and Richard Bleach are now grandparents. They're first or?
Right, Alexa went to Sunday school here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very nice.
So,
Okay.
The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uvratzon, inchilanu, zikaron lemahaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikroei kodesh, zecher letziyat mitzrayim, ki banu bacharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amin, Shabbat koshecha b'yahava uvratzon hinechaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim. Thank you, folks. You turn to page 6 on the bottom and read responsively. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
And we turn to page 10.
Ma yofeh hayom, Shabbat shalom. Ma yofeh hayom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Turn to page 20 for L'chai Dodi.
L'cha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'cha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad. Hishmiyanu el hamayuchad. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem tiferet v'lit hilah, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We turn to the bottom, to the last paragraph, and we rise, face the door to greet the Sabbath bride.
Page 21.
Page 21 on the bottom.
Verse 9. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gaham b'simcha u'tzahala, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We turn to page 22. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Together, the righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock, and who there is no wrong. We turn to page 26 for the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah. B'yalma divracharutei v'yemlich machutei. B'chayechon v'yemechem. B'chayei dekol beit Yisrael. B'agala v'zman kari v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach. Le'olam ve'ol me'ol ma'ya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yisela v'yitalal. Shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tishbachata v'nechamata. Damiran b'alma v'yimaru. Amen.
On the bottom of page 27. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there's no place on earth without the presence. We turn to page 28. Please rise for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam va'ed.
Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever. On page 33, wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohei Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. You may be seated. On page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavtecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha v'vlechtecha b'aderech v'shoktecha u'kumecha Ukshartam leod al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha, v'tavtom al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha, l'ma'an tizkaru v'hasitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem. On the top of page 39, let's join together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. On page 40.
Mi chamocha po'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehillah osei feleh, Nora tehilot, osei feleh, malachutecha, ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'lianu v'yamaru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, Le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar kifada Adonai et Yaakov u'go'alo meyad chazak mimenu Baruch ato Adonai go'al Yisrael.
Top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'yakol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti leolam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim aso Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aret v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam Uvayom hashvi'i Uvayom hashvi'i Shavat vayinafash Shavat vayinafash V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam
A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song in the winds and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. Please rise for the tefillah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ulefi yagid tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei HaKol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, u'Mevi Geula livnei v'neihem, leman Shemo v'Yahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol, Atah Rav l'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim b'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol, B'Rachamim Rabim, Sohomech Noflim, B'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Baal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Meimid Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'amon Atol Achayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh V'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yalalucha Selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. On the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. Together, may all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai.
Kadesh Hashem.
HaShabbat. We turn to the bottom of page 59. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shemcha v'koneh la'adot.
Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom V'tov B'einecha Levarech et Amcha Yisrael B'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך.
On page 62, yes.
יהיו לרצון עם הרפי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי וגואלי, יהיו לרצון עם הרפי.
We turn now to page 253, and we rise for the Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Alavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Now for the moment that probably nobody here was waiting for. I get to do the sweets of our Torah. This week is a jam-packed Torah portion. The main part, of course, is Joshua receiving the mantle of leadership from Moses, but it's also the portion that contains the granting of property rights to the 4 daughters. I've commented that on the past. It's really amazing. That becomes enshrined in Torah law. Before Moses passes on, he publicly anoints Joshua as his successor. Actually, that's a commandment from God. he places his hands on his disciples' head, transferring his spirit. So the question is, why was Moses denied entry into the land of Israel? Did God ever want Moses to enter? The common story that we were all told, which I think is incorrectly told, is that Moses and Aaron gathered the assembly before the rock. This is the second time, and God said, "Speak to the rock and water will come forth." The first time, he was commanded to strike the rock, and that brought the water to the people who were desperately thirsty. So was the reason that God got angry is because he didn't speak, he struck? No. He says the following, "Hear now, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock?" The we being Moses and Aaron. The point is, I believe, is that he and Aaron should not have claimed credit, that everything that happened in the Exodus is attributed to God. But I don't think that Moses was ever going to get into Israel. I don't think that that was God's intention from the very beginning. My interpretation, it's not mine, I've learned it elsewhere, but it is a different interpretation. In Exodus, we learn that Pharaoh is considered a god in Egypt. And much of the Torah is devoted to sticking its thumb into the eye of Egypt. They do things that God would find horrible. For example, the sun is considered a god by the Egyptians. The Torah says it's merely a timepiece to mark the day, the time of day, 24 hours. That's in day 3 of the creation. Egypt theology is preoccupied with death and the afterlife. In our Torah and our teachings, there's little mention made of the afterlife. This was the centerpiece of Egyptian theology. The plagues not only served to free the Israelites from Egypt, it also demeans that which the Egyptians had found precious and worshipped. It's clear that God does not want us to worship a human. And had Moses gotten in, there's every reason to believe a shrine would have been put up in him, that we would be, the people would have worshipped Moses as though he was a god. And for this reason, mainly, God was not going to let Moses in. The reason is that the law must be transcendent and incumbent on all. If it's only the opinion of one person, if I say that I think that murder is wrong, that's really just my opinion. But when I say that God commands us not to murder, then it has the weight on everybody, not just Jews, but everybody. One of the dangers, for example, is that if it's humans that create the law, the ethics, then how can you say that Hitler was wrong? He thought he was right, I thought he was wrong. But we know that it's wrong because of the commandments that God had given us. However, we do revere Moses. That's not lost on us. He is the one who delivered the Israelites out of Egypt. He's the one who brought the law to us. He's the one who suffered terribly throughout the whole time. And what was his reward at the end? He gets to sit on top of a mountain and watch Israel from a distance. So the mantle passes to Joshua, the celebrated spy, the one who came back and told the truth, and the master general that leads the people to the Holy Land. At this point, I invite forward the chair of the Budget and co-chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, Rachel Nathan.
Shabbat Shalom. My dad and I were talking before. We always remember the one service, probably decades ago at this point, where my family, or mostly him, was leading, and no one else was here. No one else ended up coming, which I was like remember being shocked as a child. But tonight we have many people here, so I feel lucky. It's like looks like the high holidays, for the summer. And I know there's more people watching at home too. So I want to thank David Newman for leading us tonight and for his Devar. I want to thank Joel for singing. and Brad and Leon for broadcasting, and Officer Coiner for. I checked with him to make sure his car was air conditioned, and it is. Okay. There are some announcements. It's a little later around here in the summer, but we do have things going on. On Tuesday, July 14th, the senior men of Solel are meeting up at Nautilus Diner at 10 a.m. I don't think you RSVP. I think you just show up. And I don't.
Greg knows, he likes to come.
Oh no, you RSVP to Greg.
Yes, and the other they should RSVP, because I have to tell them no this diner.
Okay, so if you're interested in coming, RSVP to Greg Johansson, so we have room for you at the table. I don't know if you happen to catch Cole Shalom this week, there was a lovely picture of the group of you. I think that was the other day. And we have our monthly night out at Coal Fire Pizza that same day, so if you really want to have a gluttonous day, you could eat out twice. Breakfast and dinner. And it says monthly night out, but it looks like there's another one at Nando's on July 20th. So I guess July is what we lack in services, we make up for in meals out. Although we're not lacking in services, because every Friday in July there will be a different lay leader. So you should come next week, just like you're here tonight. And I think that's pretty much it. The rest you can. Oh yes, there is an oneg sponsored by David and Carol Newman in the lobby. I'd call it like a continental oneg. But we hope you'll stick around for a few minutes and have a cookie. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. I think she told more jokes than I did. Hey, I work alone up here. Okay, turn to page 282. And we rise for the Elena.
Olenu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei k'dulal yotzer b'reishit, shelo asanu k'riyeh haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpacha l'adama, shelo sam elkeinu kohen, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim. Umishtachavim u'modim livnei melech malchei hamalachim hakadosh baruch hu.
You may be seated for a little bit.
Page 287.
Page 284.
284, you go.
The English on the top.
There you go.
For you spread out the heavens and established the earth. Your majestic abode is in the heavens above, and your mighty presence is in the loftiest heights. You are our God, and there is none else. In truth, you are a sovereign without compare. As it is written in your Torah, know then this day and take it to heart that Adonai is surely God in the heavens above, and on the earth below, there is none else.
V'nemar v'hayo Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
On page 289, in nature's ebb and flow, God, eternal law, abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. We turn to page 293. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose life has been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We remember the passing recently of Arden Strauss and Sandy Townsend, members of the family of Carl and Pam Stamer, and David Rabinowitz, Yoav Balmrind, and Elad Nadai, the three who died in the plane crash in Bowie on June 20th. We also remember those who have passed in years ago: Janet Dianoso, Sharon Camero, Burton Thorman, Herman Armand, Lydia Rosalie Bleach, Dina Asharov, Meyer Segal, Barbara Liebman, Jacob Rubin, Herman Abramson, Irving Andrusa, Monroe Blass, Hilda Bloom, Herbert Silverman, Tilly Kaufman, and Max Rosenthal. May their memories be for a blessing, and we turn and rise for the Kaddish on page 294.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ילמד דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכם וימיכם, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ועולמי עולמי. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי דקודשה בריחו, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרמה, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל. Amen.
Joel, it's your turn.
Yeah, let me see. Is it 321?
We give them a lot of latitude.
Okay. But I picked the tune. We'll go old style.
Okay, what page?
321. Adon olam asher molach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa b'chefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu echad v'ein sheni lahamashir lo lahachbira b'li reshit b'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra v'hu eli v'chai goali v'tzor chavli b'yetzara v'hu nisi umanosli manat kosi b'yom ekra b'yado afkid ruchi b'yed ishan v'ha'ira v'imaruchi gaviyati Adonai li v'lo
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Enjoy the 4th of July and America's 250th birthday. And please stay cool. And now we're going to do the Hamotzi.
Then you can have your cookies. Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min ha'aretz.